Hello everyone and welcome to the third video in the C++11 programming YouTube series. In this video we're going to actually cover the arithmetic operators for the C++ programming language. Let's get started right away. So I'm going to start by typing in our standard boilerplate C++ source code. So I'm going to call it arithmetic.cpp. We're going to include IOStream to allow us to output and input from the keyboard. And we're going to say you're going to include the standard namespace and our classic main function. Now at this point, this should just be standard by now and everyone should be very comfortable with this. So suppose that we were writing a program that's just going to allow the user to take the average of two numbers and display the results back to them. So what we'll need to do is do some basic math. So in order to do an average of two numbers, the algorithm or the concept is simple. So in plain terms, we say that the average of two numbers is equal to num1 plus num2 divided by 2. So all the numbers divided by 2. Notice that we have to do all the additions first, followed by the division. This allows us to go very nicely into the conversation dealing with arithmetic operators in C++. In order to do math in C++, C++ provides us with a bunch of very nice operators. So in order to do addition, we have the plus operator. Now to do subtraction, we have the minus operator. So multiply, we have the star, and division, we have the / here. So let's get right into it. So in order to do this, we'll need a few variables. So let's start by asking the user, enter your first number to be averaged. And we're going to declare a variable. Let's declare it to be an integer, and we're going to call it num1. And we're going to let the user enter that first number. Now, similarly, we're going to tell the user enter a second number, and then we're going to declare another variable called num2, and we're going to let the user enter that number. So in order to provide this division or this addition for our algorithm, we're going to need to store the result in a resulting variable. So we can do this. We can say that int result is going to equal to what? Num1 plus num2 divided by 2. Right? Because these parentheses here group the addition operation. The addition operation takes two operands, which are in this case num1 and num2, and then adds them first, thanks to these parentheses, and then we do a division by 2. And then we want to print out the result. So we're going to say the average is result. Very simple, very easy. Let's start. So then let's compile our program and see what we get. So let's say we enter 5 as our first number, 7 as our second number. What do we expect when we enter that? We get 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we should have an answer of 6. And indeed, our average is 6. Let's try it again. So let's say we enter 5, but this time we enter 8. So now we expect our average to be 13 divided by 2, which is 6.5. Wait a minute, we get the average is 6. What's the issue here? Well, let's take a look back into our program. We see here that we have an integer to store our first number, which is okay, an integer to store our second number, but the integer to result our result. Now think back to what we said in a previous tutorial where we said that integers only hold integer numbers. What happened here was a result of truncation. And what truncation is it's simply where when you assign a floating point value with a decimal to an integer to an integer type variable, what it does is it says, you know what, I'm going to disregard the fractional part. I'm only going to take the whole number. As a result, it only took the whole number of 6.5, and that's why we got a result of 6. The fix here is to simply just, what if we just simply did this? What if we simply did the double as our result? And then we recompiled, and we tried our test case again. So we did 5, and we did 8, and we still get 6. But we did everything right. Why didn't we get the right answer? The reason is that because here we're doing integer division. We're doing an integer, which is the num1 plus num2. That's an integer. An integer divided by an integer will give you an integer result. So what we need to do here is we actually need to do a cast, where we cast the result to a double, and then we divide by 2. So if we recompile and we run this program and do 5 and 8, we'll get the answer that we wanted, which is 6.5. Now, here we've used the addition and the division operations. The same can work for multiplication and subtraction. So we can say that, something like 5 minus 2 is 5 minus 2. And then we can also say, 5 times 2 is 5 times 2. And when we, just enter a few numbers, we get 6.5, and we say 5 minus 2 is 3, and 5 times 2 is 10. So this is going to be a pretty short video because arithmetic operators are very simple. Really, the hardest part here was this result, this averaging problem here that we expected earlier on. Just remember, anytime that you're expecting a floating point value, either cast your result like we've done here, or another option is to eliminate the cast and then simply let all 3 of your operands just be doubles. So if we recompile like this and we run our test case again, we'll still get that the average is 6.5, which is the correct value. Now, suppose that we wanted to say that, now suppose we were writing a ATM program and we basically let the user input the current balance they have, and then we let them insert or withdraw a certain amount of money. How would we program something like that? Well, let's start. So if we say we're going to create a new file, and in here we're going to write our boilerplate as usual. And then here we say, let's write a simple welcome message like welcome to my ATM. Let's let the user enter their PIN code, or let's skip that. Let's just say enter your balance. This is a very unsafe ATM. We're going to say enter your balance. Now we have to declare a variable of type double for the reasons that we've discussed before. We're going to say the balance, and we're going to say enter your balance. So now we have the balance. Now suppose the user wants to, suppose our ATM only allows you to deposit. So we're going to say, please deposit your money. How much are you depositing? And then again, we want a double, and we're going to say deposit amount. And then we're going to let the user enter that deposit amount. What's our new balance that we'd like to print out? Well, our new balance is going to equal to the old balance plus the deposit amount. In other words, we're going to say that the new balance is going to equal to the old balance plus the deposit amount. In C++, we can actually write this by saying that balance plus equal deposit amount. This is not the same as algebraic uh, math, where we're saying that balance, we're just adding to it some new value. What we're saying is the new balance is going to equal to the old balance plus the deposit amount. So then if we see out, your balance now is right, and then we compile with our good old compiler, and we print. We're going to say I have a $10 balance. I'm going to deposit another $10. So my balance is now 20, which is expected. We can do this a similar thing with subtraction. So instead of depositing, let's now allow the user to withdraw some amount of money. So how much are you depositing? Or sorry, how much are you withdrawing? And then let's declare a variable, and we're going to call it the withdraw amount. And then we're going to let the user type it in. And then we're going to say, again, now our new balance this time is going to be the old balance minus the withdraw amount. And then in this case, we simply say this. Withdraw amount. And then we can say your balance is now balance. So if we recompile and run the program, we say I have a $10 balance, let me deposit another $10, and let me withdraw $15. So now my balance is 5. One final thing is that we can actually do this with multiplication and division, and we can actually expand this statement and think of it as something like this, that balance is going to equal balance minus withdraw amount. In this expanded out version, it's very clear what that operation is doing. It's saying that let me get the old value of the balance, subtract from it this, and then put the new value here within itself. Similarly, up here, the value of the new balance is going to equal to the value of the old balance plus the deposit amount. Again, this operation here is not algebraic, because this doesn't work out in algebra. What this is saying is that the old balance plus some amount is going to equal the new balance amount, and that the old balance amount here minus some balance amount is going to equal that to the new balance. Again, guys, you should definitely play with this. There's a lot to learn here. I'm not going to go through all the arithmetic operators, but you can go through examples here where it's very useful to play around with these things, and you can come up with a lot of examples where the arithmetic comes into play. Thank you so much for watching. In our next tutorial, we'll be covering the relational operators, and we'll finally start getting into how do we fix all these damn bugs in our programs that are, what if the user has a negative balance and this and that. We're going to get to that, promise. Thank you guys, and have a great day.